Hey guys, Avilo here, and I am bringing you a replay of somebody that I have caught map hacking multiple times. And actually, this replay, it's not just this replay. There's many replays that I'll probably go over here in a moment. But yeah, there's actually an influx of map hackers on Legacy of the Void. People keep saying that there are none, and it's getting really tiring because I keep playing them. Almost every day I play at least one on ladder. And I know people give me shit, and they try and, now everybody's trying to use the scapegoat, saying that, oh yeah, Avilo cries wolves about hackers or whatever, but no, it's actually true, they're back. In the past week, approximately week of playing StarCraft, I've played at least 5 to 6 of them, maybe upwards of 10 total. Including a hacker that was caught in Heart of the Swarm by the name of Nero, who apparently is back in Legacy of the Void now that map hacks are back. And I hadn't played that Nero guy in almost, it must have been months. I hadn't played him in months unless he was on a barcode. And this last week I've been complaining about playing people that are blatantly hacking, looking in the fog of war, clicking on units, and doing all sorts of crazy shit in my games. And then he shows up again, and I end up playing against him, and I'm like, wait a minute. Is this the same Nero from Heart of the Swarm that was hacking? And of course it was. So, map hacks are back. They are back. I'm not saying every game is going to be against a map hacker or anything. But here's a game. I played against one today. This player is the name X Kawayan. And I have even accused him in the past. I think I had him blocked on Twitter before. I'll probably have to reblock him. And, yeah. He's even from this TASC bullshit. These guys were known for being asshole map hackers in Heart of the Swarm. These TASC guys. Now they're TA Pro, I guess. I'm assuming it's the same thing. TA, Team Ascension, whatever. It used to be a clan full of fucking map hackers. Supposedly, they got rid of hackers a long time ago, but, people still hack anyways. So I'm just going to go in this game, and I'm going to show you, what I showed on stream. Because, yeah, I think it's funny that there's still so many of them. There's still so many of them on the ladder. And the ones that I personally play while I'm streaming, they always try and use the excuse. Nowadays, they try and do the same. They're like, Avilo, you call everybody a map hacker. But that only gets you so far when the actual replay evidence in the game points to, everything else showing that you are a map hacker. So there's a couple instances in this game that are strange. And, you'll notice those strange things happen repeatedly in games. Anyways, the first thing, he has a build order win. He has this Viking and Marines here to catch a Liberator or a Medevac. Could be either one. So this first thing at the start of the game, could be standard Viking defense. There's nothing mega shady about this. It is strange that he did just sit in his base, but this could be the first thing could be coincidental. But if we go back here and we actually look at the I just want to go back towards when my Liberator is heading towards his base. Let me rewind here real quick. Because the way you find out the way you find out if people are map hacking, it's usually because of how they move their units and like what they're looking at in the game. Like, what is this? Okay. Anyways, my Liberator will fly into his base in a moment. And you have to go frame by frame like this to catch these guys. So my Liberator's on the way. I haven't seen any, at least on this point. It's tough to tell from this. Like I said, this is the first shady thing that he, had the Viking over here. He could have had his Viking over here. It's kind of a 50-50 shot. A lot of it you could say is luck. So we have to see what he's actually selecting before the Liberator gets in range and where he's looking also. He happened to be, so if we just rewind here. So as the Liberator is about to fly in, his screen jumps up here. his screen jumps back up here. And the Liberator, I think, is almost in... Oh, let's get to when it's, like, almost in vision here. It's almost in vision. And this is, once again, how you have to proceed if you're trying to figure out, like, wait, what is going on in this game? So, 417, if we go back to 4, let's go to, like, 415. 412, 413, 414, 415, 16... So my Liberator is not in range. His screen is now it's going back up to the top right. Like suddenly his screen starts moving to my Liberator, but it's not within vision yet. But you'll notice, like, you know, it's very... Does he even select his Viking? He even selects his Viking. So this is a clear indication that he is map hack. This is, if we go to his selection, I'm just... Alright, no. Alright, no. He didn't select his Viking. My bad. Don't call me out on that, Kappa. But anyways, his screen is moving this way. I'm on his screen right now. So this first part, you could say, okay, he got really, really lucky, right? He got really, really lucky for this first part. Extremely lucky. You could say that for the first part. But what the next two things I'm gonna show you, like it doesn't seem like luck to me, and I'm just gonna speed through this because the next point in the game. So, you guys will notice right now, he has his Marines here. Now this Liberator, he doesn't know where my Liberator went, right? Could have gone top right, could have gone bottom left. I have a Reaper going around the map here. Looks like I was scouting for hidden bases. He sends 2 Marines. Now, I don't know where these were actually clicked to. Let me just rewind here. So let's go to when I send this Reaper out, because this is actually pretty interesting. This Reaper, that's meh, jumps in there. Oh, sorry, I actually just blanked and missed it at the bottom. So I just want to see the timing on this. I think he already had these 2 Marines here, if I remember correctly. But then suddenly, look at this. Like wait a minute. He selects 2... What is he selecting right now? Let's slow this down again. So he moves his screen there. And this is... where's my Reaper? Okay, so my Reaper is going out now. Alright, sorry about that. Anyway, so my Reaper just got sent on the left-hand side of the map. And then he comes down here, and he selects 2 Marines and moves them. And then he goes back. So, all of a sudden, he just comes here, like, as this Reaper is going out of the map, he selects 2 units and moves them towards, you know... Once again, that could be coincidence. Maybe he was just, you know, being spastic like a lot of StarCraft 2 players are. So once again, it does seem strange that as this Reaper is crossing the map, and as this one is crossing the map, suddenly he's, you know, moving those units. Where are these going? This Reaper and Hellion here. Like, it's a little strange, but that's not the strange part. Let's get to the 2 main points. Sorry, let me speed this up. Let me go to my vision. There's nothing too interesting right now. He obviously sees Reaper, he kills it. So my Reaper still doing stuff down there. So let's continue on. So at this point, I want to get to the point. So I send out my Liberator, right? So I just send my Liberator to the bottom of the map. So let's check this out. And once again, this is without... He has no vision of anything on the map. He doesn't know if my Liberator is still back up here. He doesn't know if it's down here. Which is fine. So he leaves units in 2 places. That's normal. Sends these Marines here. That's normal. That's normal, right? That's very, very... That's actually very normal to do that. To have these units here and to have these over here. Incredibly normal, you could say. So I send my Liberator down here. And I just leave it there. So I just leave that there for a while. I either forgot about it during the game, or I just wanted to send it in really, really late to try and catch him off guard, or whatnot. So let's continue on. We're gonna go to his vision, and let's just speed through to this next shady part. So okay, he scouts the front of my base, then he scans the front. He does see my Reapers go out. Okay, that's fine. So he scanned and saw the Reapers go out. That's that's coincidence. He just got lucky with the scouting, you can say. So let's check where his units are waypointed to. Now this is the part that I find hard to believe. You'll notice his units, his waypoint, so it's here and then here. So it's like waypointed here, here, and then here. So let's check this ending waypoint, which is, you know, he did it in the general direction of where my Reapers went to, which is fine. Let's check where my Reapers are going to. So here are my Reapers. This is a little bit interesting. His, it's the way my Reapers are going, you know, where he waypointed ends exactly on the pathing of my Reapers. Exactly on that, you know, on that pathing. So once again, you could say, you know, could be a lot of luck. Could be really coincidental there, I suppose. But let's get to the next part. So that's you know, that's all he had vision of that, of the Reapers going out, so he knows they're somewhere around there. So that could be luck. But let's go to the next two interesting things that I think 100% will prove that this guy is map hacking. Now suddenly I'm moving my Liberator to the top left. Okay, so finally, after minutes of this guy has had no vision, he has never seen a Liberator anywhere. He never saw a Liberator go down here. He knows I have a Liberator somewhere. Could be up here, could be down here. But after like a minute or something or two of not seeing the Liberator, let's just speed up a little bit. Let's go to his vision. Once again, it's been almost minutes. Let's check this out. Suddenly he starts moving all these units, and his screen jumps down here to these 4 Marines, and he starts selecting them and attack moving them or clicking them right here all of a sudden. So what made him suddenly move all these units, all of these units, and then come over here and snap his attention to these 4 Marines? Well, let's check. Isn't that interesting that the moment my Liberator started moving up the left-hand side of the map, all of a sudden he's jiggling around and suddenly repositioning his Marines over there? Isn't that a little bit interesting that he had done that? I mean, if I had like AFK sent this Liberator behind the mineral line, he would have caught it with his Marines. But so let's go back and check this again, because this to me feels like, you know, and I've said this so many times during games, you have to look at the replay and look at the evidence. It feels very much, and during the game, I think I even put like a question mark in the chat. So all of a sudden, this Liberator, it's moving up the left-hand side of the map, and you see where my Liberator's waypointed to, guys. You see where it's headed to. All of a sudden, he starts selecting these 4 Marines in preparation for it, but he's never fucking seen it the whole time. It's one thing for coincidental things to happen in a game of StarCraft, but for them to match up this perfectly and be almost this synchronized after almost like a minute or two of this unit not moving, the fact that he has no idea where it is on the map, and then all of a sudden when there's suddenly movement on the mini-map, and then he decides to reposition these 4 Marines, it's too much coincidence to just say that it was just chalked up to luck. If this were Brood War and somebody had seen this in a Brood War replay, they would have already been blacklisted from online tournaments, to be honest. There were so many people got caught. There were so many map hackers in StarCraft 1 in Brood War. It was tougher to catch because we didn't have these replay files that let you see what everyone was selecting and what they were doing, like what they had selected. It's actually much easier in StarCraft 2 to catch these people. Okay, but if that wasn't enough for you, let's rewind here. So once again, earlier we saw that he saw where my units had gone to. He saw those 3 Reapers, you know, in that general direction. Once again, I mentioned that this waypoint is so strange how it's on the direct pathing of my Reapers, which is very, very strange. So let's check this out here real quick. This Reaper. So if this wasn't enough for you, and for some people this is not enough. But you know, it's very obvious to a player, that anyone that plays the game, that, you know, after minutes of not the thing is, he didn't move his Marines for minutes, and the Liberator didn't move for minutes. But once suddenly there was something for him to focus on, then he snaps his attention to move the Marines. So let's check this out over here. Of course, my Reapers are right here at the moment. He has no vision of them yet. There is a Hellion here. So the only thing that he actually does have vision of is that Hellion. Now here's the strange thing, and what I didn't show you, you guys will see in a moment. If I put it on his vision, so let's speed this up again, because the thing is, you have to slow-mo this to actually catch it during the game. And if I didn't go over the replay, you know, during the game, of course, when I was streaming, I was like fucking, you know, of course, I was like, what the fuck is, like, how does he know exactly where my Reapers are? This doesn't make any fucking, of course, you know, I'm gonna be exasperated, but, you know, I could be wrong while I'm streaming, so I checked the replay, like I am with you guys right now, and we're gonna check this. So now he takes manual control of his, in a moment here, let's see. And once again, this was the part where he moved his Marines. He actually had moved his Marines for the, he moved his Marines for the Liberator that he doesn't know is on the way. Now let's check this out. This is quite strange to me. You might think like, okay, he saw the Hellion, right? Not exactly. He's actually clicking to my, he took control and he's clicking to my Reapers in the Fog of War. Before he sees them. So before he actually saw the Reaper, he takes manual control of his units and starts clicking over to it. So once again, this is the waypoint pathing that the Reaper's on. Now all of a sudden, he takes manual control and does a click this way. So he's actually clicking to my Reaper with no vision in the Fog of War. So he once like that is incredibly strange. And once again, this boils down to like, is that really coincidence? No, not really. This is called map hacking. People do it. It happens. It still happens on the ladder. But this is not coincidence that, you know, that's happening. And it's incredible. You know, if you didn't know any better, if you weren't able to go into a replay, and if you haven't played the game for as long as I have, you might not catch some of this stuff in the game. And I'm going to slow-mo this again so we can see where his vision is. This is where his vision is right now. So the strange thing to me is if we he sees this Hellion, like he actually saw it on his, and I mean this just more and more verifies that this guy is indeed map hacking this thing for the Liberator. And so now he actually sees this Hellion, but he's not looking, like he's not actually looking here. His screen is over here because he's clicking to the Reaper. How can his screen be in two places at the same time like that? I mean, would a person not want, like, he sees the Hellion and it's on smack dab on the center of his screen, yet he's not attack moving to this Hellion that is, like, look at this. His screen still was not here. He was looking over here because he was actually clicking here on the minimap. But his screen, he sees the Hellion on his screen, yet he didn't, like, attack move right there. So once again, it's one thing after another that proves for a fact that the person, whoever this is in the replay, even if I don't show you their name tag, or, you know, if this were just two barcodes playing each other, you could look at this evidence objectively in the replay and say, this guy probably is map hacking, like 99% chance. And I just want to go through it again so we can go through, you know, the logic. Once again, the shady thing, we're going to go through it just one more time so people can, you know, you guys can let it sink in and understand. So once again, he moves the Marines as the Liberator is coming into the left, that he suddenly he remembers those Marines to move them for some reason. Then his screen comes over here and he sees the Hellion. His screen is where my screen is and where your screen is right now. He sees that Hellion on his screen, yet he's ignoring it because his screen, whatever hack he's like, this doesn't make any sense. Unless someone's gonna try and pull it's a bug in the replay, but I honestly don't think that's a bug. Like, he's clicking to something else that he can't see, right? Like, because right now he's issuing a command. He took manual control and he's issuing a command to where my Reaper is in the Fog of War. And like, right to the fucking Reaper. But he has no vision of it. That's the thing. And then all of a sudden, this, which is directly on his screen, then he remembers to go back and attack move against that thing, which he should have seen, but for some reason, how did he not see that if it, like, it was on his screen? But that's not where he was looking. That's the thing that I'm trying to get across to you guys. The Hellion is obviously on our screen, and it should have been on his screen, but his screen is looking somewhere else. And yeah, I mean, it's 100% definitive proof that he's map hacking. You see here, in a moment, he takes control. I'm just going to select the units he has selected. If we go to where I think his screen actually is, check this out. Suddenly he takes control, so he must have been looking here, and he must have realized, he took off the waypoint that he set, and he must have realized, I mean, he's looking right at it, and he's clicking right to it. So he must have had his screen here for the Reaper. And then, all of a sudden, then he goes back over here and realizes, oh, there's a Hellion here. And one more time, just because I feel this is strong enough evidence that it honestly does speak for itself, where his, like, it's so, like, where he's looking right now at this moment. There's a Hellion on your screen, bro. You don't see anything else on the map. You might want to kill that, right? Any normal player would kill that. But instead he's clicking to a unit in the Fog of War that he can't see. Isn't that strange? I mean, you guys can be the judge. I feel this is very, very strong map hack evidence. I feel it's incredibly strong for this game. So let me know in the comments if you felt that my analysis here was objective and that I just used logic to go through this game. And you know, that's why, you know, when I was playing the game, I put in a question mark because I'm like, what's going on? It felt strange to me when I played it, and as we saw going into the replay, something is not adding up in this game. And we'll see in a moment, you know, tries to chase the Liberator, and now all of a sudden, you know, he apparently knows where all of my units are, and he decides to do a Doom Drop. All my units happen to be in my natural right now, but he's not scanning, he's not checking anything, but he just goes ahead and does a blind Doom Drop into my main. This, you could say, is coincidental. You know, this, you could just say he's you know, bad, and he's just doing a blind drop just, you know, to try and catch me off guard or whatever. But in conjunction with everything else that you've seen in this game, once it's like, okay, well, of course he dropped where my units aren't, but he didn't know if they were still at my natural or if I had some in my main. He had no way to know that. So yeah. Anyways, there's this replay. I want to go into another replay real quick, actually. I want to show you guys a replay. Another 100% that I feel is 100% map hacker replay. And this one was actually on my Zerg account. And I feel the replay that I'm about to show you here will also prove to you 100% that there are still map hackers on Legacy of the Void, and I feel Blizzard should do another ban wave or do something about it. So this game I remember very vividly, and this game I'm Zerg. So, you know, if you want to, for the people out there that are going to try and ad hominem attack me and say that I'm using excuses or that I'm biased, this is Exhibit A. I'm playing a different race, but you're going to see another 100% indicator that, you know, this guy is map hacking. So first of all, you'll see I go, my opponent opens double gateway, which is not strange. That's a normal build. You would expect double gateway. Normal build, standard build. The strange thing is that he doesn't build any units out of it, and I'm also going for a fast lair. I'm going for an incredibly fast lair, which he hasn't scouted. And fast lair like this is very, very, very rare. Most players, what they would do is, they would send adepts across. They would be making adepts, sending them across the map. But for whatever reason, my opponent has no idea that I'm going for a fast lair for a 2-base Muta, and he throws up double Stargate. And he doesn't even attack me with the adepts. He doesn't scout or attack with the adepts. So he just goes double Stargate off the bat, and you can see in the production tab, like, okay, he's actually blind countering 2-base Spire. Huh. That's actually strange. That's really, really strange. And of course, you just saw there he flew to each of my Zerglings. I mean, if that wasn't like, he flew to finding the Overlord, the first Overlord, right here. You guys can, we can all say that this is this first thing here where a lot of this you can say is coincidental. Although it is strange that he does click directly on it. So, I didn't even catch this the first time. He actually clicks directly on it in the Fog of War, if we rewind that. This isn't even the part that you know, it's funny when I go back over these replays, I keep finding more and more direct evidence that this shit is happening. So, let's check this out. And once again, usually what somebody would do with the Phoenix is they would just attack move in this general direction because there's probably an Overlord here. He clicked straight to it, which is a little strange, but okay, that's, you know, that's one thing. Now, where are these Phoenixes clicked to? Where's he clicking to? He's actually going to the Zergling, and then I think in a moment he goes to the other Zergling. Yep. He actually clicks directly on the Zergling. He goes to his Ling. Or to both of the Lings there in the early game. Maybe he thought that they were Overlords. And I do have one Overlord here on the map, and I have one Overlord up here. And I want you guys to keep that in mind for what you're about to see here in a moment. I mean, and once again, keep in mind the fact that this game opened up the way it did is already strange. Like, when I was playing this game, I'm like, wait a minute. I went 2-base Muta, he never scouted. And 2-base Muta is a very rare build nowadays. And he went 2 Stargate Phoenix. Like, already, off the bat, he's kind of blind countering the Mutas. So, and let's check, you know, his vision. Once again, he hasn't seen anything yet. Where does he click back to? Where's he clicking to? Oh, I guess he saw the link and he started to click back. Anyways, so the next crazy thing is, besides the fact that he hasn't scouted the 2-base Muta, he's throwing down a fleet beacon for Phoenix range, as if he already knows I'm going Mutas. But when you look at the game state, obviously I saw that he had the Phoenixes, so I decided to build Corruptors instead. Instead of Mutas, because obviously if I build Muta, like, I'm playing this game and like, what the fuck, he already blind countered me with double Stargate Phoenix. I can't build Muta, so I'll build Corruptors instead. And so now he's going to the next level counter without having scouted anything in the game. He's already going up to Phoenix range to counter the Corruptors that he hasn't seen. So that in itself is already like, huh. That's like really... That's fucking... Like, how did he do that? But now, we're gonna get to the 100% proof. If that metagame stuff, or if that stuff is not enough to explain it to you guys, we're about to get to 100% proof that this player, what is this guy's name? PSU Malbird. I'm gonna prove to you in a moment. Remember those Overlords on the map? He's going, in a moment here, he's going to actually click straight to them. Let's check this out. He knows where my Corruptors are. He finds that Overlord. That you could say is a freebie, but let's check this shit out in a moment here. Of course he finds... did he actually... He might have actually clicked straight to this one, too. Let's check that. Clicking there to that Overlord. Does he click to the other one? Where's he clicking right now? I want to see if he... I think he actually did click to this one in the Fog of War, too. Yeah? Let's rewind a little bit. You'll notice he does this to every Overlord on the map in a moment. Let's just fast forward this. Where are these clicked to? So we'll see in a moment here. Oh, he actually does click to it. Okay. So he clicks to that one. Alright, you could say, once again, you could say, okay, that's luck, right, Avilo? He just got lucky. He just got lucky. That's just luck. Alright, so let's check out where he's going with his Phoenix next. I vividly remember he actually does a waypoint directly on the Overlord in a moment. Let's check this out. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Where are these Phoenix going? Where are these suddenly click to? Where's he going? He's clicking here. Okay, he goes to the Changeling. I don't think he had vision of that. So where's he gonna click to in a moment? Let's go to his vision. Once again, to catch this shit, you have to slow-mo it. Okay. Is this the... I don't know what he's... I think we're at the part now. Okay, there we go. Check this out. Please, please, leave comments in the comment section if you think that this is... that I'm not analyzing this correctly. Look at all of his Phoenix are waypointed like this. So once again, check this out. All of his Phoenix are waypointed like this. Take a look at these waypoints. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's on the map here. Let me just press the E key. Huh. They're directly clicked on it. Huh. So if the start of the game with the fast lair and the mutas, and then him blind countering the mutas with 2 Stargate Phoenix, and then me making corruptors and him blind countering the corruptors with Phoenix range, if that wasn't enough for you, and besides him clicking to the first Zergling, the second Zergling, if all of that wasn't enough for you, I hope this right here proves for a fact that there are actually an influx of hackers on Legacy of the Void. I mean, he just suddenly, what is this? I mean, okay, one waypoint and attack movement is okay, but he literally is clicked directly on the Overlord in the Fog of War. And of course, they're all waypointed to go to the other Overlord over here. And I think when I was, if I remember right, when I was commentating this game, I probably was talking about it on stream. And this guy, I think it was pretty obvious when I was playing him what was going on. And, yeah. He didn't kill this one because at this point I had already started, fuming on stream and raging and calling him out, what the fuck is it, this guy is hacking, you guys gotta believe me, what's going on? So he probably didn't want to make it look that fucking obvious, even though he was already kind of waypointed up there. Anyways, there you go, guys. Map hackers do exist in Legacy of the Void. The question is, does Blizzard do something about this? I don't know. When do they do something about it? I don't know. I have a few more replays. There's actually more replays with evidence from other games, but those are 2 games I feel recently you can tell, okay, first guy has his screen in 2 places. He's Hellion on his screen, doesn't react to it, but he's actually clicking towards the Reaper in the Fog of War, and he also moves his units to deal with the Liberator. So that's the first game, and you're just okay, coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. First game. And then the second game, you're just okay, wait a minute. So he blind counters 2 base muta without scouting, but he opened 2 gate, and then he didn't make a depths off the 2 gate, but he didn't scout, but he knows that he's going mutas. It's okay, this guy could be map hacking, and then then I build corruptors, and then he counters that with Phoenix range, but he hasn't seen anything on my half of the map yet. You could be okay, Avilo, you're being a little paranoid, Kappa, but then he clicks directly onto the Overlord in the Fog of War, and at that point you're just okay, hopefully you guys are okay, I believe you. Fucking believe you. We've gone over the replay evidence. They exist. Anyways, there's 2 games, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Please leave non-trolly comments because I think it's really fucking bad. Oh, okay. So that Nero guy was the other map hacker that I have a replay of from recently. But yeah, I feel like it's not good that these guys are back, that these map hackers seem to be back, and obviously they don't give a shit. but it's not good if there's more and more of them. I'm trying to not talk about it on stream. Trying to not say much on stream about it because I don't want to give them attention either. Because then if I give them attention on stream, more people do it. But it's also really quite frustrating for me as a player of StarCraft on BattleNet that I keep encountering these people over and over again. And obviously, you guys or somebody that doesn't stream, you're not going to run into these guys as much as I'm going to because I'm streaming. People like to try and annoy me or try and tick me off or whatever or make me rage. The average player is not going to run into these guys as much as I do, but it's clear that they do exist and that they are on the ladder and that there is some stupid hacks out there. And I just hope that Blizzard does a ban wave or does something about it because it's getting ridiculous. At least for me, but yeah. Anyways, peace out, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please look at these games objectively. If you don't, rewind this YouTube video, go back and look at the evidence yourself. I can even upload the replays too, if people want the replays to look at themselves and think that there's something that I misanalyzed, or if you think there's actually more evidence, then let me know. And yeah, peace out, guys.